Each year, the country's best amateur racers set their sights on a single track. Through hard work and tenacity, each driver has earned the right to compete. Now, from across the country, they converge to battle for the ultimate prize: the right to be called national champion. The National Autosport Association Championships, presented by Toyo Tires.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our Speedcast coverage of the National Autosport Association National Championships, presented by Mazda and Toyo Tires. Our feature category this weekend, Spec Miata. My name is Rob Howden, joined in the booth by my colleague Al Craighead. Al, we have Spec Miata. It's going to be a fantastic race here at Mid-Ohio. 50-something cars, big field. It's going to be a good one.
Spec Miata is always a great class to watch. A couple things, like you said, huge field, so you know you have a wide variety of talent and cars out there. You know, the preparation of the cars. Two, the Spec Miata cars are so evenly matched. The front runners are, separated by little, as you see the times coming up on the board here.
Very close.
Very, very close.
Mark Bennett's going to start on pole in the number 11. He'll start alongside the 84 of Todd Lamb, while row number 2, I believe Al will give you row 2.
It's going to be Brian Dumont and Gregory Stasiowski, your defending national champion.
Those are the 4 drivers we're watching right now up front. We're going to go through the entire grid here. As we said, 50-something cars. It's a massive field here at this year's National Championships for NASA in the Spec Miata class, brought to you, of course, by Mazda and Toyo Tires. We have in-car cameras with Mark Bennett, the number 11, Brian DeMont, the number 61, and Dennis Joint as well in the number 29. These are the players that are obviously going to watch. Todd Lamb as well from the outside pole in the number 84. I got a feeling he's going to be real quick, Al.
I think, as you said, all the front runners, the top 4 guys, all have an easy shot of, not an easy shot, but a definite shot of winning this national championship race. And this year's a little different, too, because they've combined the 2 classes. Last year there was 2 separate Spec Miata classes. All the Spec Miatas are running together. So you have the 1600cc engine cars from 90 to 93, and the 1800cc engine cars from 94 to 05.
You know what? That's great to have them all together. And it says we have this massive grid here of 50-plus cars, and they are all getting set to go. Man, what a great day here at Mid-Ohio. It's going to be a good one, folks. These guys are waiting for the green flag as they work their way through the keyhole for the first time. The butterfly has got to be going right now.
They've had a couple races, some of the heat races to get the grid set, so they've got a feel for how things go, but it's a little cooler, and this race is always a little different than the heat races. This is the one that matters.
Remember, the green flag here at Mid-Ohio will be on the back straightaway, start-finish actually right in front of pit lane. So they work their way through the keyhole here, which will actually be turn number 2 for us. Turn 3 will be the kink, and turn 4 will lead into the S's. Now, here we go. The field is set and ready to roll. Bennett, that's him in the white car here. We're on board right now with the number 61 of Brian DeMott. To the left there on the outside, in the blue number 84 is Todd Lamb. These 2 drivers set to go at it big time here. Lamb's been pretty strong off the green flag, and here we go. Green, green, green. We are starting this year's NASA Championships for Spec Miata. Bennett gets a pretty good jump on the green. He'll pull a little bit ahead of Lamb right now. Looks like we got something in the back there, Al. Look at the dust rolling up right now.
It looks like, I don't know if there's some dust. There's definitely some cars off course. So I think we had some contact, which, to be honest, isn't that surprising. When you have 50 cars, the guys in the back are just coming out of the keyhole and the flag's waving. They're not even sure, so they're sort of looking around trying to see if it's a green or not. And yeah, that's some bend-up bodywork.
Trouble there for number 64, Scott White. We're being told that Tim South and the number 72 also involved, as the whole shot there actually went to Todd Lamb. I believe Lamb in the 84 was able to get around the outside of Mark Bennett on the green flag coming through turn number 4 and up to the S's. He got a good run through there, but while we are green on lap number 1 here, out a couple cars went out there. You got to believe we're going to go full course yellow first time around.
It all depends on where those cars ended up after if they can pull off or not, if they can get off course, and if there's any debris on the course. But I wouldn't be surprised if they don't go full course yellow, which would suck for Mr. Lamb, because it looks like he got a big jump out there. Yes, they're waving the full course yellow.
Yeah, there it is, folks. As we said, a pretty big mess over there on the back straightaway heading to turn number 4. It was a wild start, as we said, 50-something cars all locked and ready to try to get down into turn number 4 the first time. They're 4 wide, 5 wide coming down pit lane here right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure some of these guys saw that it's a full course yellow, or maybe they just aren't familiar with the rules, but there's no passing allowed in a full course yellow, and they're 4 wide. So let's be interested to see how they sort that out.
Let's have a look at the replay right now. This is our start here as they go green. And We're going to start from the front. We'll go a little further to the back afterwards. Maybe we can get a couple of replays here. This is obviously the replay coming into turn number 4 for the first time. And look at the deep move by Todd Lamb. That's all you got to do. He went real deep there. Gives him the inside for the S's, the left-handers. They come back up the hill, and contact is DeMott. Gets hard to the inside of Bennett up there. I know that these guys are evenly matched, but that's some early contact as these drivers got things settled in. But a good start there for Lamb. Now on board with actually number 29, Ron Joint. Dennis Joint. Dennis actually was super quick. Third, I believe, in the first qualifying race, but had an off in the second race. That's moved him back here to 6th spot, the outside of this row number 3. And man, not a really great start for Dennis in the number 29. But he's going to be able to curl up just like Lamb did on the outside. Where's he going to end up here? Currently 6th spot. Man, look at the bumping and banging in there, Al.
A lot of bumping and banging. As you said, sometimes it's better to take the outside line in that first corner here in the S's because it sets you up for the inside. And unlike the first corner there, you can get the power down on the outside. If you're on the outside coming up the top of the hill, you can't get the power down because it's the way it's cambered, so that you just can't get any wheel spin.
Here's the incident right now. We're back on real time. The replays are all done. Obviously, a lot of work to be done there. That's the car of Tim South. From what we can see here on our vantage point, it looks like some pretty serious damage to the left rear of that Spec Miata. And they are not going to be able to roll that one, and it's going on the back of the flat toe. Obviously, not a huge start here for our Spec Miata. We're hoping to get some action right out of the box, but I wanted on-track, wheel-to-wheel action opposed to just maybe a start line instance. So continue watching here as our drivers are getting back in. A complete restart. As you said, Al, there was a lot of confusion there when they got the yellow flag. Drivers all over the place. I'm sure they had to take a little bit of time to get our guys back into the correct positions as we are on a complete restart. So second start here for our Spec Miatas after some action early on there. Hopefully further back in the pack, they'll settle down a little more this time through.
We'll see. You never know if these restarts, and now you've gotten a chance to see what you guys in front of you are going to do, how they're going to take them. Do you take the same approach you took the first time and hope it works out better, or do you try something completely different? We'll wait and see how this all shakes out.
Pace car peels off, and I guarantee if you're Todd Lamb in the number 84 from off pole, you want to do exactly what he did the first time. He was able to get a good start, and even though Bennett was able to edge away from him, he was able to go deep into the braking zone in turn number 4 to take the spot. Again, green flag here. Bennett's getting a good start. Here comes Joint looking to the inside. Will he go 3 wide? No, but he is on the inside. A little bit of contact with DeMott there. And again, look forward to the left-hand side. Another great start for Todd Lamb.
I'm actually impressed by it because it looked like he was a little slow to get on the gas there down the front straight and backed everybody up, stacked them up behind him. But he seems to have a phenomenal pressure on the brake pedal there. Just find how much speed he can take to the outside line and get in there deeper and farther than anybody else.
Todd Lamb, a former national karting champion, very good behind the wheel, looking good here right now, as we said, as he leads in the Spec Miata category this year's 2007 National Autosport Association National Championships. Again, my name is Rob Howden, joined by Al Craighead, and this broadcast brought to you by Mazda and Toyo Tires. And we are just getting started at a 13-lap race. It's Todd Lamb leading, Mark Bennett into second, Brian DeMott into third. And here comes the rest of the field streaming through the carousel.
It'd be interesting to watch how everybody's starting to get in a single file right now. Do you tuck in behind your guy and maybe work together, get in pairs or something, work together and work your way to the front, or you just go for the gusto and see how many guys you can get each corner?
And you know what? That's it. In the back, you get some of these drivers obviously had a bit of trouble in the race or in the qualifying races. Maybe they got more speed. In the back, you got a knife. You got to bomb and gouge. You got to work your way through real quick. Up front, these guys can settle in. They know it's a long race. If they can get in a tow, like you see here, front 5 drivers are all pretty much locked together as it's Lamb leading, Bennett in second. I believe that's DeMott in third, Stasiowski fourth, and Dennis Joint now rounding out your fast 5. These guys can just sit in line here and try to knock some laps off.
They can, and they've also, a bunch of them have raced together, so they know what their strategies are, how each car handles, how each guy's driving style or maybe his cars come into as the race goes on. Because as you said, this is a 13-lap race. Your tires are going to go away. Your brakes are going to go away. This track can be a little aggressive on how your car acts. So depending on how you set your car up, how you got everything going, you may want to go for the lead at the front, try and build a big gap, or maybe you want to sit back and just say keep it close and then make your move late.
Dennis Joint made a move right there coming down to turn number 4 as he was able to slip by Stasiowski to take over the 4th spot. And right now, actually, it's Brian DeMott who is looking to try to find a way by Mark Bennett. One thing, Al, we've got to mention, because we're really early into this, while Mid-Ohio is still a pretty long racetrack, we got 54 cars, 55 cars here. lap traffic eventually is going to come into a factor here.
It is. The only way that could not come into factor is if we got a whole bunch of full course cautions, which we've already had one, which has helped them space them out again a little bit. But if they run more than 4 or 5 laps green flag, you got to figure the leader's going to come up on the guys at the back of the pack, and then it's going to be where can he pass them and how safe do you want to do it.
Exactly, and that's the thing with a guy like Todd Lamb, who's leading right now in the number 84. He maybe want to be a little more aggressive, be able to get by, maybe able to pin one of the guys, Mark Bennett, who's closing on him right now, maybe try to pin him behind a lap car in a perfect spot to be able to pull away. Right now, however, Lamb continues to lead by maybe 2 lengths. Bennett right there, and DeMott in that blue Miata close as well, and Joint, as we said, has worked his way into 4th spot. So again, down the back straightaway for only the second time right now. Todd Lamb looks like he's pretty comfortable up front right now, Al.
It does. And the interesting thing we talked about before I talked about briefly is we got different makes of cars. We got a 1999 Miata being chased by a 1990 Miata. So different size engines, but they've obviously equalized them. So they're both, you can just see it right here. They're both pretty equal horsepower, weight, that sort of thing. So they're, running similar lap times.
As the largest class of this year's NASA National Championships, you got to believe that Spec Miata is going to keep growing. So many people are getting the opportunity to come and race. Not only are they attracted by the program itself, the formula that allows you to run a fairly affordable rate, but everybody wants to go run a huge field like this. When you can get in with 50 cars, you can be qualified 48th position. You know you're going to have somebody to race with, and that's really what it's all about here with NASA.
That's a big part of the NASA program and a big part of racing, I think, is, you want to win championships, but not everybody's going to have that opportunity. Not everybody has the prep skills, the driving skills, all that sort of stuff. So if I'm not going to win a championship, I want at least 4 guys I can race with. And you got 50 cars, I don't care how good you are, how good your car is, you're going to have someone to race with and get a blast out there.
Spec Miata, definitely an affordable way to go racing, but obviously there's a lot of stuff that goes on. The motors, the program is starting to get a little bigger. As more guys get in the field, these cars are getting a little more intricate, a little more, obviously the prep's getting big as well. As we watch right now on board with number 61, DeMott. He's falling back a little bit as our front 2 drivers, Al, as we talk, they're kind of pulling away a bit here.
I think they've decided they're going to push each other, but work together and maybe try and build a gap on 3rd through 5th place. That way then it comes down to the last couple laps, then we'll fight for the win.
Once again, we want to thank Mazda and Toyo Tires for supporting this Speedcast broadcast of this year's NASA National Championships in the Spec Miata category. We got a little battle going for us up front here as Todd Lamb in the 84 took the lead from the get-go as he was able to go around the outside of Mark Bennett the first time down into turn number 4, obviously giving him the inside run up to the S's, up to the top of the hill. And now he continues to lead, but look at the 3 drivers battling back there for 4th spot.
Going side by side under braking, we'll wait and see if he can pull that to execute one of those perfect passes down under braking. No, he's not able to do that. But I think he's going to try and line him up so he can get a good run out of Madison, maybe in the Thunder Valley.
These guys are really evenly matched. That's the thing. Dennis Joint here in the number 29 has Greg Stasiowski in the number 32 right behind him. And these guys really are dicing at it in a big way. As you can see, open track for Joint right now as he really can't attack, as he's got to defend more than that right now, Al. He's got Stasiowski pushing hard.
He's got Stasiowski, and these guys went at it last year and finished 1-2, so they know how to do battle here at Mid-Ohio. So they're going to push and bang and push each other away. I think maybe Joint might be holding up that pack because it looks like they're stacking up behind him.
There are a couple more cars closing up there, you're right. And that's 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Very close. DeMott a little bit deep into the carousel there. He had a little bit of trouble, went way off the apex line. But right now, man, the driver to beat here, Todd Lamb, has got it going on. He's got an open track in front of him and really has been able to build enough of a gap back from Bennett that he doesn't have to defend at all right now. He's just running open laps.
He can just run his own little race, get into a rhythm, figure out where he wants to try and save his car. I think, if you're running fast enough that you're not getting pressured, you can save your car a little, maybe be a little softer in the brakes, a little more gentle in the turn-ins, that sort of stuff. Save your car for the last couple laps because those guys are going to be coming at the end.
And like you said, tires are going to play a role here. These guys have been on probably the same rubber all weekend long, and they've run a couple of qualifying races already. Very important right now to be able to maintain your grip levels to the end of the race. And here comes Bennett closing back up a little bit here. We're on board again with DeMott in the number 61. Still third. He's been third all race long, but he has really not let these guys get away. Goes deep under the brakes to close back up again. I'm telling you, we're 4 laps in. This thing's going to get really good before it's over because DeMott's starting to close.
It's interesting. You seem to watch him. He seems to fall back a little on the straightaways there, but then closes up under braking. His car seems to be running really, really well through this right-left combination. And he closes back up and gets close to them. And then you watch it in through 1. He gets real close and then falls back a bit through the keyhole.
Maybe a little bit down on power for DeMott. I don't know, but he's running pretty good right now. All up and over the curbing. into Thunder Valley here as he closed to within maybe 3 lengths to Mark Bennett in that white number 11. Up front, though, Todd Lamb in the 84 continues to put the laps down. We're 4 down. That's 9 laps remaining. Still a long time here. And here comes Dumont having a look to the inside of the carousel.
It's really hard to pass there, but if the guy leaves you just enough room, you can stick your nose in there. You can force him wide and maybe push him sort of towards the pit lane entrance, but it wasn't wide enough that he could stick his nose in there. He looked, but he was smart enough not to take the move there.
Well, bottom line now is what he really needs to do is just keep putting the pressure on Mark Bennett. If he is there in this category that is so close and so well evenly matched, he's just got to be there. He's got to be relentless with the pressure, but when that opening comes, and if it comes, you got to be there to take it.
You do, and one of the things that Spec Miata, because the cars are so even, if you have that, like you said, you got that opportunity, you got to take it. And if you're willing, a little love tap here and there, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're not punting the guy off the course, but a little love tap here and there. And actually, deeper the field, you're not really seeing it now, but I guarantee you're getting a lot of guys bump drafting down this back straight.
Yeah, hopefully our race director's going to let these guys do a little bumping and bang, not a ton, but obviously this is fendered racing, so sometimes you have to lean on the guy to get through. That's okay with me. Maybe the race director might think a little different, but that's all right with me.
Like I said, I have no problem with as long as you're not doing the NASCAR punt and chrome horn, slowly get them sideways. Bump and run. That's a little iffy on my part. But if you're inside there and you rub the door panels a little, maybe put a little circle mark on the door.
You okay with that?
I'm fine with that.
A little donut on the side.
A little donut on the side of the car.
Todd Lamb continues to lead, but Mark Bennett in that number 11 is closed up again and within a couple of lengths. And man, really interesting to be able to watch Lamb slide that car. Drops a wheel a bit there on the exits as he rolls into Thunder Valley. But Todd's sliding the car around pretty good right now, and it looks like he really has a good setup on that Miata.
All the front rows, if you watch them through, going around the corners here, they all seem to be able to just put them into a little slight drift, and so almost a drifting, slight slide, so that, and the really fast guys can get the car sliding. You're not scrubbing up too much speed, just keeping the momentum going, but it just sets you up exiting the corner.
You can see them coming through the carousel where it is that apex is a little bit later on. You can just see them rotate the car and get right around there, because that is a tough corner. I've always had a little bit of trouble trying to get through the carousel because you don't really know where to enter. Because some guys enter wide, some guys enter a lot more in narrow inside to the right to the corner, right to the apex. And man, these guys are able to get in there, maybe a mid-corner entry, and get that car rotated. Very impressive to watch these front 3 drivers. And not surprisingly, they pretty much pulled away from the field right now.
They have, and I think part of the reason, too, is you can just see it down the straight there going to the keyhole that 4th through 5th are going side by side virtually every corner. Dicing, you can see the guy, inside, outside, inside, outside. It's fun to watch, and it's, I'm sure he's trying to get away fast, but it's not going to be the quick way around the track.
Here comes Bennett, going to have a look to the inside, and turn number 4, thinks better of it, and tucks back in. And you're right, Al. One of the reasons why these guys have been able to pull away a little bit here is the fact that those guys in 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, led, of course, by the number 29 of Joint, they are actually dicing it up big time for that position. If they maybe got into a train and could maybe try to chase these guys down, it could be different. But right now, they are dicing in a big way, and the leader's actually even pulling away from Brian DeMott, number 61, currently P3.
I think, as you said, if they got in a train, that maybe they might be able to close up, but I think also Dennis Joint just doesn't have the speed rate at this moment to lead the chain, and he's holding everybody up. And look, he's actually no longer in front, and that's one of our guys going off.
That's Simonson, I believe. We lose a driver off. And the entry to that corner, very tough one there for Ken Simonson in the number 86, as he just lost the rear end of that going into that corner.
Yeah, so I think, I'm not sure if Joint is still holding the spot. Yes, he is, but that's Drago, I think, is now in the 5th place.
Drago up to 5th, Stasiowski to 6th, Meyer in 7th, Phillips in 8th, Olsen 9th, Watts rounding out your top 10 right now, but they're all right there. And there's trouble right there for Joint. You cannot make a mistake like that. He's getting bookended up to turn number 1.
And you can't go 3 wide to turn 1, so someone's going to have to give it. It looks like Joint did the smart thing and got out of it a little bit. Just enough that he can go through the corner without going flying off the course and taking some other people out.
Just a little air there coming out of the carousel onto the front straight. That's all it takes. A little bobble, and those guys were able to jump on it, and that's exactly what we talked about. You've got to keep the pressure up. In a series like this, in a category that is so close like Spec Miata, it's not so much the fact that you're going to be able to race right by somebody. You got to be relentless. You got to put the pressure on, and if any kind of a mistake comes, you've got to jump on it.
The only time you're going to be blow right past the guy is if you're one of these guys and for some reason you're starting dead last, because you got a lot of speed difference than the guys in the back. You're just more comfortable in the car set better. But right now, between 4th and 7th, there's nothing between these cars, to be honest. It's going to be, like you said, someone makes a mistake, leaves a little opening, and someone just dive bombs and takes it.
There's a move right there as well. I believe Joint able to grab one more spot there as he went down the inside. Yes, Joint able to go down the inside of, I believe, Stasiowski at that point, and he'll be able to go back into the 6th position. Now he's working his way here up on the number 29 machine. Actually, Joint is the number 29, but he has fallen back just one spot. Up front, so it's still Todd Lamb, folks. We're coming around to cross our halfway point. They'll put 8 laps in the books of a scheduled 13. As here we are back with our leaders, all 3 of them again here, as we're now coming out of the carousel onto this front straightaway. And look at that, Lamb had trouble. Too early of a turn in. Here comes Bennett.
He pinched the corner, really hurt him. You saw him get a little twisted out of that, and that's going to give Bennett the run down the turn 1. He's going to take that position, no problem.
For the first time in this race here at the NASA National Championships for Spec Miata, we have a new leader, Mark Bennett, in the number 11. Has been able to take the position. And look at Todd Lamb push and drop the wheel on the exit of 1.
More than dropped the wheel. He put the whole 4 wheels and kept his foot in. It's reminiscent of some World Challenge races I've seen some guys go off there. And a little love tap there going through the corner. But I think it's going to work. Amazingly enough, he kept his feet going through the grass there.
Wow, that was amazing. As Lamb was able to go off, but he said did not pull off the throttle, full wood all the way through it. And he was able to get a run still up the inside. And they went 2 wide, side by side through the carousel, and we're going to keep it happening here. Here comes DeMott to play as well. Lamb's going to try it down the inside. Bennett going to try to hold from the outside, but no, this one's going to belong to Todd Lamb. So only for a little bit does he lose that. And now we're going to go back to this battle. 5-car battle, Al, for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Look at this, side by side, door handle to door handle.
Door handle, and I think that was... Yes, that, it's a nice pass there, but it's hard to read the numbers there. Sometimes they go flying past, but I think that might have been Stasiowski and Drago and Mary Phillips going at it there.
I think that possibly Joint got shuffled back a couple, back on board with DeMont up front. As you said, it is very hard to read from our vantage point here to see exactly these cars. The numbers are not very big. We're doing what we can, though, with colors and everything from the booth here. As we're watching DeMont again putting some pressure on here. Brian DeMont in the number 61. Has sat here in 3rd spot all race long, but you know what? He's been comfortable. He doesn't really need to make a move. He's not letting them get away. He's still in a really good position. As we said, right now he can just sit there and let these guys battle.
I think that's the thing, is he had a shot there briefly. He looked at taking the opportunity and decided, okay, wait, I'm going to step out of it. I can run with these guys. I can run the same pace. Let's let those 2 guys get together. They've already shoved each other off the track once. Maybe they're going to love tap each other and go off, and I'll just slot right in and take that win. Thank you very much.
Bennett's going left and right to try to find a way through. Here comes DeMott now to the inside of Bennett. They are side by side. DeMott to P2. Bennett looked like he was trying to shake him up a little bit. He was going left to right trying to get into Lamb's mirrors, and when he did that, DeMott decided to jump on it. Went down the inside to take over the apex at the keyhole. Now we got a new driver in 2nd spot.
And as I just talked about, said DeMont was happy to sit there and let those 2 battle out. Oh, you can present me the opportunity? Thanks, I'll take that. And now he's going to try again under braking here down the end of the back straight, but just doesn't have enough. But Lamb seems to have that outside line working to perfection today.
DeMott took a look down the inside there, and in any of the other categories, if you get in there deep on the inside, you should be able to take the spot. But you're right. Todd Lamb just has a really good handle on that outside line. He does not have to pinch down to the inside there as he's able to hold it. And here comes DeMott again. Look at these guys. DeMott had a look to the inside of Madness there coming into we have a driver off. That's Lamb. 4 wheels off Lamb on the outside of that corner, man. Oh, that's hardcore coming out of turn 8.
Coming out of in the Thunder Valley there, and he's lucky those walls have been moved back a little, because the old days you do that, you're smacking a wall. Nowadays you can do it, and if you keep the car point straight like he did, keep your foot in it, you should be okay, which he was very fortunate. But DeMont, I'm sure, was like, all right, I got another run. But Lamb seems to be just as quick. I mean, he's got traction control or something on that car. He seems to be real quick on the grass, too.
Those Toyota tires are working both on the pavement and on the grass for Lamb, as now DeMott's going to have to battle with the 11 of Mark Bennett. Wow, you know what? That was tough. DeMott really pushed him going into turn number 8. That's that kind of off-camber turn 8 that leads down in to Thunder Valley, and DeMott put a ton of pressure on Lamb for that, and Lamb just kind of folded a bit and went off, but he was able to hold on to it. And here come these guys battling again for 2nd spot. They're taking different lines coming out of the keyhole. Al, we're side by side.
Side by side, and this is the great thing about Spec Miata, is you get to watch these guys, and like I said before, their cars are so evenly matched, and when it gets close to the end, like now, we're 3 laps from the checker flag, guys are going to really start diving on each other. I mean, a little rubbing, like we said, it's fine. But these guys are playing pretty clean so far, so it's been very, very impressive and fun to watch.
Todd Lamb's looking in his mirror right now saying, hey, guys, you guys can battle as much as you want for 2nd spot. I'm going to check out here because they're going side by side again. DeMott, they were side by side all the way down the back chute. DeMott able to have the inside here up on top of the carousel, and he's going to, rather, up on top of the S's, and he's going to hold that spot now. Bennett, though, is getting a little bit frustrated here as he's realizing that Todd Lamb's starting to pull away a little bit. He is not going to be liking this at all. Again, through turn number 7 and 8, up over the curbing as they work their way into Thunder Valley, and Todd Lamb is starting to disappear off into the distance.
He is, and as you said, I think Mark Bennett's going to get frustrated real quick, especially if he feels that DeMott's holding him up. He might give him a little nudge here or there, but we'll wait and see. I know he definitely doesn't want Lamb getting off there because, as we said, these cars are so evenly matched. If you get a big lead, it's going to be hard to catch the guy back up with only a couple laps to go.
Bennett in the number 11 on board with him right now. Folks, you are enjoying our Speedcast coverage of this year's National Autosport Association National Championships, the Spec Miata category, brought to you by Mazda and Toyo Tires. And your top three who've been watching for a while here, Todd Lamb, Brian DeMott, and Mark Bennett, all running pretty much well away from the rest of the field. There's a great dice going back for 4th on through 8th or 9th. But these guys are dicing at it. Here comes Bennett back on the inside into the carousel. Book that one. He's through. Bennett goes to the inside, but if we look on the outside there, I think DeMott's still there. He is.
I was going to say, there's a shadow still up there, so he wasn't giving him. See, he let him take the inside line, but he didn't let him carry it out to the apex, off the apex out to the exit of the corner, so he couldn't carry the speed off the corner, which allows DeMott to sit right there, and he's actually going to should have better speed going down this back straightaway, but wait and see how that all shakes out.
We talked about it earlier that DeMott may be a little bit down on power compared to Bennett. He was getting beat a little bit on those corners, but look at these guys coming up top here, over through the S's. DeMott didn't push it too hard. He might have been able to throw the car to the inside there, but some pretty good racing there for DeMott to let Bennett have that position coming up through the S's. Man, these guys are really going at it.
And it's a great example of how you can race close but clean. They're giving each other just enough room to, if a guy gets to the onside, he's not squeezing and pushing him off the track. They're giving him just enough room to get him right behind him. And some great entertaining racing, but nothing dirty. Everything's nice and clean. Very, very fun to watch.
Again, Todd Lamb up front, the number 84, has got to be just loving this, looking in his mirrors. When he can see these guys side by side coming through some of these corners, he knows this is his opportunity to pull away. 3 laps to go last time by. I believe we'll be down to just 2 laps remaining in this Spec Miata race. 2 laps to go for Todd Lamb.
And it looks like maybe the second Bennett and DeMont decide maybe we're going to run together like right now, get in the chain, maybe run together as a pair and try and close that gap back up because they know Lamb's checking out.
They have to work together right now. If either of these drivers want a shot at the national championship, they have to stop battling. They can't be going 2 by 2 every time they come through here. Again, up we come into the carousel. Here comes DeMott, hardcore right into Bennett. You know what? In a stark contrast to what we just said, DeMott just dove hardcore to the inside of that corner. There is Bennett backwards. Now they have such a gap. I think he's going to be okay. But man, Al, your thoughts on that? That was a deep move that probably didn't need to happen.
It was a deep move, and I think he could have been okay if he hadn't. What happened was he went outside and he actually, he pinched him and tapped him. If he just held his inside line and let him run that outside line, maybe that might have worked. But he was carrying too much speed.
That's exactly right. He was carrying so much speed going to that corner. Really, he didn't have an opportunity to make that corner, and that's really what passing's all about. You have to be able to keep the car to the inside. So an unfortunate incident here with just 2 laps remaining in Spec Miata, as Brian DeMott in the number 61 tried a pretty aggressive move down the inside of Mark Bennett over in the keyhole. Contact puts Bennett into a spin. I believe that DeMott able to continue on. We don't have an in-car camera with him again, but man, that's going to shake up everything. Todd Lamb well out front right now. Barring any kind of mechanicals, no one's going to touch him. Back on board here, though, with Dennis Joint, as these guys here are not over. They're dicing up big time here. That's Jim Drago in the number 2 right in front of Joint. And right now, these guys are battling still for 4th and 5th position. It's been great racing already.
But with Bennett, with that spin there, he's just ahead of them. So they realize maybe now that this might be a shot at a podium spot. If they can close up on Bennett here, not only battle for 4th, but maybe grab a podium spot, which I'm sure none of them were expecting when they were racing and doing this great battle a couple laps ago.
Sure enough, the top 3 guys are pretty much checked out, and Bennett settled himself back down, pulling away again. But look at that. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th right there. We're back on board again with Dennis Joint, the number 29 machine. A little squirrely there on the X-Man. His tires have got to be going away, Al.
He could be. The Toyota tires have been holding up pretty good for everybody this weekend, but he gets been running fast laps not there, but I think at this point they're starting to go away. Yeah, he's sliding way up, and I think that was a combination of tires and braking, him going off course.
I think he tried to pinch that one down the inside a little bit. I think he was trying to defend a position there, and man, yeah, that doesn't always work because those tires, you just cannot get around the corner that way. He's going to be able to get rolling again. But folks, we are on the final lap here right now, last lap here, and we continue to watch it. Final lap on the racetrack for Todd Lamb. As it's still Dumont in the second spot, Bennett in third, Drago now up into fourth, Stasiowski into fifth, and Phillips in sixth position. All right, let's have a look here again. Todd Lamb's going to roll through that corner into Thunder Valley. Obviously no in-car camera with Todd Lamb here, so we're not going to be able to watch him the whole time, but he is going to come back up over through turn number 11 here. What a great run for this driver here, folks. Did a fantastic job. Todd Lamb's going to bring it up through here. Here comes Dumont through as well. And we're going to see Todd Lamb coming around here. Checker flag going to fly, I believe, folks. Here it is. Checker flag. Your winner of this year's NASA Championships in Spec Miata, Todd Lamb. What a great run for him. Brian Dumont is going to roll through here for second position. I believe it'll be Mark Bennett. There he is. Will take over the third spot. And here comes the battle for fourth, fifth, and sixth. Definitely a good one here, folks. We'll give you the full rundown after we head down to the paddock to talk to our winners.
I'm here with Mark Bennett, who is our third place winner for the Spec Miata NASA 2007 Championships. Mark, can you tell me a little bit about the race? It looked like you were battling for second for quite a while, and how that turned out for you.
Yeah, we've been a little weak on the starts in the races, so even though we've been on pole with the qualifying, we're having trouble getting through the first couple turns and maintaining the lead. So the start was a little hairy. I got hit in the back in turn 8. Caught back up, got back to second, and had another incident with the number 61 car. So we're going to be reviewing video and working with the officials to try to come with a determination on it.
Very cool. Is there anybody you'd like to thank for this year and things like that?
Yeah, all my sponsors, Race Engineering for the motors and Carbotech for brakes. Both Mazda and Toyo are just awesome at supporting amateur motorsports in general. And NASA throws a great event. It could have been a really great race, but some aggressive driving got in the way, I think. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for doing an interview with us, and congratulations again on third. That's awesome. Thank you. I'm here with Brian Dumont, who was our second place winner for the Spec Miata race of the 2007 NASA Championships. Brian, can you tell me a little bit about your battle that you had going on through the whole race and coming through at the end? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, turn one, we had a pretty good start. Ended up, I think, third going through the start. Then we had the big crash in the first, and we sat there for a while. Then they re-gridded us, and I thought, oh no, because all weekend I'd had bad starts. And I thought I got the one good start where it counted, and we girded back up and ended up third on the restart. So that was good. Kind of fell into place, and we just kind of ran like that for a while. And all three of us, I'd kind of lose the second place guy, and then I'd catch them when they'd make some mistakes. They seemed to have a little more motor on the straights, but I just kept running them in the brake zones, trying to really just be precise in the corners. And then they started making mistakes. When I got to them, they started slipping, sliding. A couple of them went off. Got by one of them. He went back by. Wiggled a little bit here and there. I just tried to be clean and tidy. Ended up second on the podium. Awesome. It was very cool.
Is there anybody you'd like to thank for this year?
I'll tell you what, I got a ton of people. I got Kevin and Kenny, my wife, my dyno guys, Speed Lab, Toyo Tires, Mazda for their support, Vilvin Tires, Mad Brew, man, so many. Hawk Brakes, so many I'm running out. I just got to thank everybody, my family, my friends. They put me and my racing almost number one, and it almost makes me want to cry. It's just so cool. So thank you, everybody. Love your wife. Love you, Carolyn. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Jeff, everybody.
Well, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm here with Todd Lamb, who is our first place finisher with the Spec Miata race for the NASA 2007 Championships. Can you tell me a little bit about the beginning of the race? You kind of got into first pretty early and then had to stop. How did that make you feel?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say hi to Scott Pruitt's family at home. Hi, family. And second of all, it really wasn't a big deal. We did a half a lap, and I pretty much figured there was going to be a restart anyway, so I'm glad that we got to run a lot of laps as opposed to all the time that we spent sitting there. And, it was a great race. We had plenty of laps and plenty of excitement.
Very cool. Yeah, and is there anybody else you'd like to thank for this year, for getting you here?
Well, it's been a pretty crazy year. I got a late start, but I got to thank Sunbelt. I got to thank Tom and Dan and Ryan at OPM Autosports. They did a great job this weekend getting the car prepped, and everybody that's helped me along the way. There's been a lot of people, and Toyo did a great job supporting this, and NASA did a great job putting it on. So,
Thank you so much, Todd, and congratulations.
So Todd Lamb, $4,000 richer after a huge win here in Spec Miata. Al Craig, let's have a look at our top 10 from this year's national championships.
As you said, taking home his first national championship, Todd Lamb in his Mazda Miata 1999. Mark Bench gets the second place spot, even though he finished third on track because Brian DeMont was penalized one position for that late race contact.
Not surprising.
In turn one. Jim Drago finishes fourth, and Greg Stasiowski, your defending national champion, rounds out your top 5.
6 through 10 saw John Phillips in the 6th spot, Eric Meyer in 7th, David Watts up to 8th, Alan Olson 9th, and after that trouble early on, Ken Simonson able to cap off your top 10. Al, final thoughts on Spec Miata. Great race, a good battle up front with 3 drivers, and a wicked battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th on back as well.
As expected, we got a great race to watch. We had a little of everything. We had some great runs up front, some little contacts, a little penalty, some great restarts, a little of everything. If you like closed-wheel sedan racing, Spec Miata is one to watch.
It was a close one for sure. Like you said, there was guys battling all the way. I think the guys in second and third kind of got a little crazy near the end. I think they were realizing that Lamb was getting away, and it was one of those things where, man, if we want to win this thing, we got to go at it.
That's the case, and I think we would have had a 5-car train battling for the win if we hadn't had 4 through 6 going side by side through every corner for more than half the race.
True enough, folks. Anyways, when it all is said and done, it's going to be Todd Lamb. He will be your national champion for 2007. Congrats to him. A fantastic run, folks. On behalf of the National Autosport Association, Speedcast Productions, my colleague Al Craighead, and our broadcast sponsors Mazda and Toyo Tires, this is Rob Howden bidding you farewell from Mid-Ohio.